What's important is talking about the downfall of Tottenham Hotspur, because as a collective, I don't think there's any of us in this podcast that really have a liking to Spurs other than just pity. Like I don't really mind Spurs just from a pity factor. Like they're kind of just there.
I don't like them.
I feel bad. I feel bad for a friend, Nick of the podcast, and some people that I hold dear to my heart, because like, why would you?
To the people close to me that have an affection for the club, I apologize, but I have no sympathy for the club.
Yeah, what a dumpster fire. We've done a couple of videos on them, but it comes to this point, which is the guy they brought in to somewhat right the ship did not. He picked up 1 point in 5 matches in the Prem. They got bounced from the Champions League, and now they are in search of another interim. Do we want to talk about the De Zerbi stuff, or do we want to talk about just where they're at as a club first?
He might come in if they give him. There's tons of guarantees that he doesn't want to. Understandably so. Sean Dyche, unironically, his name being thrown around, he said he wouldn't do it on an interim basis. I saw something. Ben Davies is a potential option
as a player
until
manager.
The end of the season. I mean, he's not even playing that much. He's 32, but I think he has his badges. But again, the fact that we're at this point is nuts. I mean, I don't think we thought it could get worse when they got rid of Frank. A lot of people thought that was too late when they got rid of Frank, and you bring in the firefighter, but he'd never been in England before managing games there, and he wasn't able to really throw it together. We saw Pedro Porro at center back. We saw some heinous spots in terms of players and where they started in an 11. I don't know where you go from here. I do not know. I feel like it's been said on every platform, but it's not a good team. They're not relegation level. Even the players available right now, I understand how awful the injury crisis has been there, but when you see the players that are available for selection coming off of the bench, they're capable of winning 2 games, right, and keeping you up. So they're definitely capable, but again, they continue to not show any signs of life. It's really dark over there.
Dark is probably the right word. I think it's gotten to a point where it's so sour that they don't know how to get themselves out of it. And they're just lucky that West Ham have dropped points along this path, because realistically they should be in relegation. And I don't even know if there's anything or anyone that can save them. Like, even if De Zerbi comes in, I think that it's so sour right now that there's just not enough positive momentum.
Does that even work long term? I mean, we know managers don't get along with Tottenham's board, and De Zerbi does not get along with any hierarchy, at least from what we've seen. Obviously, some of the players that he's backed, there's question marks there, volatility, all that stuff. But even beyond that, I don't even think it makes sense long term. Obviously, he has his ideas and ways of playing. When his teams are up for it, they look very good on the eye, but I mean, we've seen them get popped too. So I don't even know. And again, at this stage of the season, you almost need a coach that'll give these players a little bit of confidence and get them up for it. And maybe they get a result or two. I don't think De Zerbi's way of approaching players, and I don't think there would be any coddling of any sort. And he might just put players even lower in the dumps. So I don't even know if that's a guarantee or a good play in the short term. I really don't know where to go if I'm them.
Yeah, it's just such a weird situation, because the only other time that I can think of like a big 6 side sacking 2 managers in the same season is that Chelsea team, right? Where it was Potter to Tuchel, or Tuchel to Potter?
Yeah, Tuchel, and then Lampard came in.
Right, and so even in that case, like, Chelsea had a plan there, right? They sacked Potter and somebody who had like have club experience, understand.
Yeah, he lost 6 straight games after coming into the job, but sure.
you know what I mean? You guys were also not in a relegation.
There was no serious threat. There was no. Yeah, the season was over. Now we had Champions League to play for, actually, but
you put someone in place where it like made sense. There's nobody who I can look at and go, well, look, Tudor wasn't a great signing to begin with. Juventus fans were like, he's gonna get you sacked. might have been right. Like, other than the aura aspect of him, like, he brought nothing to the table. They got worse. Who realistically comes in and is able to just, like, implement something that works? Is it just Deitch?
Well, they will not give him an 18-month deal. Jermaine Defoe just got a job today as a manager, but genuinely that might be the type of realm they have to go. That's another thing that's been floated around, like former players, this and that. Like, they just need to get there. Someone needs to galvanize the group, and it's a desperation stage. It's not going to be again, not De Zerbi in particular, but a manager who's going to put guys in certain positions, tactics, all that. All that's out the window. I think it's too far gone of a situation. It just needs to be someone has to galvanize them. So I think it's going to be a name that we're familiar with, but in terms of managerial experience, maybe not so much.
They missed their window.
I don't know who's going to take this job.
Yeah.
I mean, for Tudor to go in there and like, yeah, he had some terrible results, but also you have to remember that they had an injury list that just kept getting larger. And that continues to be the case. They're not getting much more fit. You know, who's going to put themselves in front of a moving train at that point?
The light at the end of the tunnel is another train. Is that what Ange said?
Oh,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a perfect analogy for that.
He would galvanize those guys.
But no, I don't know. To me, it has to be someone that's living it every day to really, for them to understand like what they need to do. So that's why I don't know if Ben Davies has any qualifications to actually be that interim coach. But I feel like it's come to that point where, like you were saying, it's not tactics or anything like that that needs to shape up. It's the mentality of the players. So someone that is in and around it is probably the best bet. It's not something where it's like, oh, they need to have the Tottenham qualities, because like, what are we talking about?
Couldn't you argue? Ben Davies is the worst? Couldn't you argue that's the worst person though? He's been in the shit the whole time. Nothing has gotten better.
I understand that, but like, it's either like he goes down with the ship, like
yeah,
like no one else. At least he's gonna like get in there and like take it and be like, all right, there's responsibility there.
I guess that's
the leadership.
No one wants this on their
leadership
CV
team of the squad of the club.
No one wants the Spurs.
And that's the second point, is that who the hell is going to take this job?
Who are you going to find desperate enough to match the desperation?
So it's going to have to be someone. It's not like, oh, this is the best decision for our club. Like, no, this is who else is going to take the job? This guy will take it serious, and he won't just take it as a quick pay thing, because it's not that. He's a player at the club. I believe it would just, I don't know how the contract would work for that, but
he'd do it for the love of the game.
Love of the game, pride, like just any of that. Like,
or like a former
else you bring in right now doesn't
player.
Give a shit.
That's the only thing I can see happening at this point. Just something. Obviously, you see the guys on Sky like almost begging for the job at that point. It's going to be someone like that, or a group of old players, or Ben Davies might be a part of it. But yeah, who's going to want this on their CV? The Spurs relegation. I think.
They just missed their window. And this was the biggest issue with Frank not getting sacked when he was, is like, not to be that guy, but Robbie Keane's done really well at his new job. And that's a player who fits the exact thing that we're talking about. Ex-Spurs player in a managerial role, needed the next step up. Look, Spurs might have been too big of a jump, but I can almost guarantee you that he wouldn't be this bad. Like, I'd like to think he wouldn't be. But, I mean, outside of that, I mean, to your point, who do you go with now? Like, can you ring up Ole? Can you give him a big enough check?
But that's the thing too, is like, you know, to give someone a fatty check for like 2 months.
Well, that's why
they did it for Leeds when they got relegated.
On their mind is the money. It's not necessarily that like they're there to build something. They're there to rack in the check, regardless of the result. Like, it's fine. So that's the two things that you're going to come up against. I think is that someone's going to come in for a check and just whatever the results are the results, or you put someone like a Ben. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ben Davies, but someone in that type of position where relegation actually affects them, and I think most managers, you could say like, yeah, relegation would affect them, but it's negatively. Keeping Tottenham out of relegation is not going to get you that many stars. So yeah, I think it's just a shit situation.
Do you think that there's anything behind the De Zerbi stuff? Like, do you think that's like a possibility? You think he's interested in taking that? Like, to your point, if there's somebody that you're talking about could get a big bag and could be building towards the future, he's the only one that fits that mold. If that's the project he wants to go with.
Well, the reports are saying he wants to wait until after the season. He doesn't.
That would make sense.
I agree. That's a smart decision from his perspective. But if you're Spurs and you want him, this is the best time to get him. Realistically, like, you don't have anyone else competing for him. So if you
when things go bad with him, though, they go
sour.
They might speed run it.
They light on fire.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying they should do that, but I'm saying
I know. We're just discussing.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Hypothetical of it, like I don't see how that could work.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
And if they lose their first game, it can get worse and worse. It can tumbleweed really quickly. So.
On paper, he's a Premier League experienced coach. He had success at the last club he was at until it lit on fire. I just don't see it working out.
I don't either. I think that, to your guys' point, I think you're putting gasoline on top of an already burning nuke and asking it to like not catch double flames. Like, it's just, it's a bad decision. I think they're fucked is the summary. Like, they're fucked. Like, if Ben Davies is in there, like, I don't feel any more confident. Like,
where is Ryan Mason?
He's running a Twitter account, I believe.
They could have used Colo Torre, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's another option. Can you poach an assistant from another team?
Not mid-season,
but it's just the same thing. Why would you pay?
Yeah, why would you pay if it's not a certainty?
But no one's going to give up their assistant coach at the final end. It would be a huge overpay. Unless it's one of the teams that doesn't matter, and then I don't really think that.
Who knows?
Ruben Amorim is available.
Or Senior will be available soon.
We will suffer. Tottenham Hotspur will suffer. All right, whatever.
Giving a trophy. That's crazy.